What's up, guys? I'm Matt Reisinger.
And I'm Wade Paquin.
And in the Build Show today, we're talking coastal windows. You know, where Wade's building this house on Block Island, it's not unusual to see a 70-mile-an-hour wind blast these windows. So we're going to talk about what makes these windows different and how to install them correctly. Let's get going. All right, guys, so we are back on Wade's job. Wade, we are on Block Island. This is a pretty serious coastal environment, isn't it?
It's a harsh one, yeah. We are 12 miles from the mainland and surrounded by water because we're on an island. So especially in the late fall, winter seasons here, this is a pretty harsh environment.
Yeah, the wind and the water is going to be blasting these windows. So you want to put in a coastal rated window. And so tell me about this window.
Yeah, so everything on this job site is Andersen Windows and Doors. It's the A-Series line.
Okay, which is their top of the line product, right?
Correct. And this is their Stormwatch version unit for the A-Series. So with the Stormwatch, we're getting our impact glass. We are getting that higher PG rating.
Yep.
We're getting the metal straps that are attached to the window frame that get screwed into our King and Jack studs. We're getting little details like the steel here that's embedded in to kind of keep these windows mold together.
Yeah, mold windows more rigid with that steel.
Right. But otherwise, I believe, aside from those features, it's as the regular standard A-Series is, similar construction.
Yeah. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that PG rating, manufacturers from Windows have changed over the years from saying design pressure to performance grade. And when you see a PG 70, that's a really high rating. Most of the time, I don't see anything over 50. And I don't know exactly the secret sauce, how they come up with that, but there's some rating, meaning wind and water and structure, and 70 is a really high rating. A lot of windows in Texas are 30 or less.
Right.
50 is good, 70 is really good.
Right.
And when I was here earlier in the day, one of your guys who lives on the island was telling me it wouldn't be unusual on a typical winter day to see a 50-mile-an-hour wind from the coast. Not a storm, just a normal winter day.
Yeah, that's right. I've been out here when that has happened. I've seen, partly cloudy with, wind 15 to 25, and all of a sudden in the afternoon, it could be blowing 40 miles an hour or more. So
that's crazy.
It's not uncommon.
Now let's talk install. When you've got a window this good and this rated, you need to install it correctly as well. And in fact, do you mind if we walk around to this other side? Let's show these guys the rough opening.
Sure.
And talk through this install.
Sure.
All right, Wade, I really like these rough openings. Now talk us through how we get to this point on the rough opening, and what am I seeing here?
Yeah, so the window order comes with the RO that's needed for the framing. So we're going to add a little bit to that in the height to accommodate this kind of two-piece clapboard system here that we're putting in, which is going to be our drainage window pan system, right? So we're putting the first piece is basically a beveled clapboard down with a thick end in. So we have that positive drainage out this way. So if any moisture, any water does get in the window, it can drain outwards.
I love it.
And then we're taking some smaller pieces, 2.5, 3-inch pieces of the clapboard, and we're just basically reversing it, putting the thicker edge to the outside. So that's going to create now basically these blocks for the window to sit on a nice flat level surface.
But yet you still have a sloped pan.
You still have the sloped
awesome.
pan, right.
And I do want to mention, that's a really good tip from you. You said it so easily because it's second nature to you. But when you get the window rough opening from Andersen, that's the RO as we call it, the rough opening, he's taken the measurement of this cedar clapboard and added that to the height. So if this was, let's say, a 50-inch opening, he said, okay, we need to
51
or 50 and a half or whatever that is to make sure he's got that room.
Correct.
And then this is Huber's liquid flash, right?
Yeah, it's Huber's liquid flash, so pretty straightforward application. We hit kind of the critical corners first. So this corner here, the joint between the sheathing and the face of the stud, between the edge of the clapboard and the top of the sheathing here, and along the edges of the spacers. And then we just kind of, smother out the rest of the flashing and make sure that we're not seeing any gray or red color bleeding through the flashing, which would indicate we don't have good coverage there. So we can go back, add a couple dollops of the flashing and spread it out. So now we've got a really nice well done window pan detail here.
It looks absolutely perfect. No origami, no weirdness. And if you need to go back later and touch something up, you can, because this will stick to itself.
Absolutely.
Right? Now pick me up on the you don't want to go through all the details on the window install, but give me the basics on the window install.
The basics on the window install, I mean, this opening right now will be ready for this window unit. So here, these would have to get cut back, but we'll apply some zip tape around these three sides.
Okay.
Just a belt and suspenders approach to cover the exposed edge of the sheathing panel and bring the tape back to the jack stud.
It's a good air sealing detail too, though, right? You're
Also a good air
sealing
sealing detail, right? We don't need air or moisture getting in there. And then at that point, we can go around with Anderson sealant. They have a specific sealant for their product, and we can apply a nice bead, they say about a 1/4 inch in from the edge, nice bead around three sides, and then we can install the window. And then Anderson, if you follow their installation instructions, they will tell you how to level it, square it, shim it, tack a nail, make sure everything's square and nice and true, and then you can go around and finish nailing the window off. But again, it reminds me of, we've talked about this, how important installation of any product is. This could be the worst window manufacturer product in the world, but if it's installed correctly, it will last.
That's right.
So those are really important to pay attention to the details from the manufacturer.
Yeah, and I've said this probably 100 times before, but 90% of the window failures that I've seen on remodels probably were not the manufacturer's issue, but were install issues.
Absolutely.
So it's on us as the builder, as the window installer, to get these details right. And what you're seeing here, guys, absolutely best practice. Last question. Let's finish the video up at the one that's been installed. I got one question for you.
Sure.
See you back there. All right, Wade, let's finish up here on this window, because this is really a beautiful textbook install. I'm noticing that you've got tape over top of liquid flash. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, so you just saw our liquid flashing detail, and then after that window is installed and the window's nailed off, we'll go around with the three sides of tape, right? So you get your two sides first, the top to get your overlap, and then you've got your tape around the three sides. We don't tape the bottom, right? This is a really important detail. If you tape the bottom, you're gonna trap the water.
Yep.
All bad news at that point, right? So what I like to do, we just don't have them here yet, is we'll install some horseshoe shims every 6 to 8 inches here, upside down, so the opening of the shim. Right, if it was the other way, like a U, then you could
Hold
trap
the
water in the U, right? So upside down shims there, 16th to 8th inch max, just enough to get that fin off the wall to allow the water to escape. But an important detail here, again, these are the things that you really need to pay attention to when you look at the manufacturer's instructions, is because we're not taping this, we have an exposed kerf here. That's where the fin, the nailing fin, attaches to the bottom of the sill. So Anderson tells you to install their sealant along that kerf. Now we have the same kerf here on the sides, and we've covered that with the zip tape. So I can peel this back here, and you can see that kerf here. That's where the fin snaps in.
Yep, I got it.
So it's really important, whether you're using zip tape, a 3M, whatever your tape is, your flashing tape, to bring that over the edge of the frame, cover that kerf back to the front edge of the frame here.
That's really smart.
Otherwise, you've got an exposed joint there that could lead to problems.
And you could have used liquid flash on that as well,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, absolutely. But same detail, you cover the kerf.
Cover the kerf, yeah. Wade, any last tips on these Anderson windows, especially thinking about ordering these for a coastal application?
Yeah, we order through our lumber yard, our lumber rep, but we're also coordinating that with our local Anderson, our regional territory sales rep. He is really our Anderson guru. He's there for us, the builder, and even the homeowner, as a resource. So they help us with placing the order, make sure we have all of our specs, everything correct. And then in terms of installation, they're just a phone call away. Anderson has all the manuals, everything's online, but you can always reach out to your local Anderson rep for help and with any questions on any series, whether it's the A series, the 400, or what have you.
Or even the 100s.
Right.
Yeah. Guys, I'll put a link to the Anderson resources we mentioned in the description below. Wade, great job on this.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
What a cool build. And guys, if you're not familiar, Wade is building out here on Block Island and is doing a series of videos from this build, from the demo all the way through the finish. And that's what I was out filming with Wade today. And so if you're interested in following this, chronicling this build, basically following it from start to finish, Sign up in the description. We'll have a link so you can get an email from me every Friday to tell you about when our newest episode is up. Wade, great job over here, man.
Thanks,
very,
Matt.
very impressive. I'll put a link to Wade's Instagram feed as well so you can follow his company there. And if you're not currently subscribed to the Build Show, guys, hit that subscribe button. We've got new content here every Tuesday and every Friday. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Otherwise, we'll see you next time on the Build Show.